Welcome back to Vintage HLC Show and Tell. This is the second of two videos on KitchenCraft. So in the previous video, which was number 63, that was part one. So if you haven't seen it, go back and look at that one. I'll put a link in the description. So we're just going to jump right in and start looking at the covered casseroles. There were three covered casseroles for KitchenCraft. There's the 8.5-inch version, the medium one, or the 7 7/8, and then the smaller individual casseroles. So the one in the back on the left has pattern JJ59, which is a Virginia rose treatment. And you'll find virtually every piece of KitchenCraft with this particular pattern. So this was quite commonly used on Virginia rose, though it originates on the Orleans shape. It's more common on Virginia rose. This is gingham tulip, which is, let's see, it should have the treatment number. It's upside down. KK302. We have all these little sprigs of tulips and these different plaid type decorations. Unusual to see yellow trim on KitchenCraft. Before going on with these casseroles, I'm going to jump over here because this has the same pattern. And it's an underplate. Looks like a dinner plate. It's a 9-inch plate. Marking has our KitchenCraft oven served back stamp, as does this one with the deco fruit. There's also a 6-inch plate. These were meant to be underplates for the casseroles. So you could use them as dinner plates and bread and butter plates, but they were sold as underplates. This one's a Conchita, and we see our treatment number KK326. You'd normally find this pattern on Century dinnerware. Next we have this Asian treatment. I've seen people call this Chinese temple. Sometimes they call it We3 because of the 3 figures. It doesn't matter what you call it if you know the treatment number. In this case it's KK346. Then we have two of the medium casseroles, which are 7 7/8 diameter. This is very common decal. We've already seen this decal on several different pieces. It's KK308, and it says Guaranteed KitchenCraft Oven Serve. That's our foil sticker. And this is KK300. This is the first treatment that was approved to be used on KitchenCraft. It has all these little flower pots on it. The base should have it as well. KK300. Individual casseroles. We have 4 of them to look at. Tulip. We saw lots of pieces of tulip in the previous video. There's our shaggy flower. That is KK302. Deco fruit. And this one with the flower pot and the windowsill, this was made for J.J. Newberry. I believe the treatment number is JJ107, though I may be wrong on that, because this does not help me. There's no treatment number. I think it's JJ107. You can also find this on various dinnerware shapes. So next we'll look at the mixing bowls. And there were 3 sizes of mixing bowls, 10-inch, 8-inch, and 6-inch. We'll begin with this one. A little unusual. This is the Tavern or Silhouette decal. I think there are 3 sprigs around this bowl. This is your large size KitchenCraft mixing bowl. This decal was used by Hall China on their kitchenware. It was also used by Taylor Smith & Taylor on their dinnerware. It was a Cook Coffee Company exclusive. And I bought this particular bowl in East Liverpool several years ago, and I do believe that it is a sample piece, though I can't prove it. But it has on the bottom CCC 16. In platinum, so that stands for Cook Coffee Company. It's very unusual to see any type of treatment numbers, anything like that, on anything other than the lids of the casseroles, but here it was handwritten in, and it's the only piece of Homer Laughlin I've been able to find that has this silhouette treatment, or Tavern as it's sometimes called. We see Mexicana. This is treatment number KK324. On a mixing bowl. This would have been part of a 3-piece set that was done as a promotion for a furniture company in Birmingham, Alabama. Broyles, I believe that's how it's pronounced. B-R-O-Y-L-E-S. Now the one beside it has our Hacienda decal with red trim. A couple unusual things about this. First of all, this is the later style mixing bowl. You can always tell the first style from the later styles. I don't know if it's going to show up too well in this video, but this is the first style with this very flat rim, and this one is more rolled. Also, you can tell by the glazes, this has a little more yellow cast, this one's more white, and the marking, of course, gives it away too. This has also, let's see, the furniture stamp in gold from Birmingham, Alabama. I bought both of these in Birmingham from Antique Malls. But it also has a back stamp from 1961, which is not unusual. We saw one in the previous video that was from 1967. But for Homer Laughlin to be using this Hacienda decal in 1961 seems a bit unusual. I mean, I would have thought that this would have been discontinued sometimes in the 40s or very early 1950s, but here we see them using this treatment all the way into 1961. And then we have VR128. So this is a treatment that was used on Virginia Rose. Here we see it on Kitchen Kraft. I think that the Kitchen Kraft number for this is VR328. All they did was change that leading digit. So just like JJ59, you'll see virtually every piece of Kitchen Kraft with that decal. Here's a medium mixing bowl with OS81. This is our treatment that takes on the form of embossed oven serve with its rose and poppy. And this one has red trim. We saw several pieces of embossed oven serve with this decal treatment on it. And then Rhythm Rose with its small sprigs. We'll do a separate video on Rhythm Rose in the future, I'm sure. This one has its gold stamp, Household Institute Rhythm Rose Pattern P. We already looked at the underplates. And we have some utensils. The pie lifter came directly from Oven Serve. The fork was made specifically for Kitchen Kraft. It did not exist in the embossed Oven Serve line. And the spoon is a shorter version of what we saw in the Oven Serve video. So these come from Fiesta Kitchen Kraft, and this has Mexicana treatments with red trim. Next, we'll look at the cake plates. Because previously when I talked about Royal Oven Serve, I mentioned that there was a way to tell the Royal Oven Serve cake plate from the Kitchen Kraft cake plate. So this one's Royal Oven Serve. We turn it over. It has 2 feet. It's completely flat. Nice rolled edge to it. Turn that over again. The Kitchen Kraft versions, they're flat as well, but there's a very, very slight curvature to it. Not much, but it's there. And we turn it over and we have 1 foot. So that's how you tell immediately the two apart. Royal Oven Serve 2 feet, Kitchen Kraft 1 foot, and of course this one has its marking. And this tulip pattern is KK309. Sometimes you can find that on dinnerware. I think Richard Ratcher showed a piece in his book on Virginia Rose. So he has a piece of Virginia Rose in his book, though you will find it on Kitchen Kraft more often. Deco leaf with its little black lattice. Another cake plate, 1 foot from Kitchen Kraft. So now we'll turn to the pie plates. This one with this flower field, sort of reminiscent of a pattern that was also used by Hall China. A little unusual in that it has its treatment number. You will not find treatment numbers on pie plates like this very often. Usually the treatment numbers are in the undersides of casserole lids, but this one's KK334. And we see our tulip pattern yet again, but this time it has blue trim. So more often than not, it's going to have the red trim. We'll go back and look at an individual casserole tulip with our red trim. All right. Dollhouse. We saw this in the previous video as well on a large covered jar. Here it is on a pie plate. Again, you'll find this on swing eggshell. This one I wanted to show for a couple reasons. This is your multi-sprig decal, but it has this little bruising going on. This is a type of damage that occurs when a piece gets too hot or is next to a burner or on a burner, and you get this unusual bruising defect. That is considered damage. You don't see it too often But when it happens, there's nothing you can do. I don't know of anything that you can do to get that out. If it was crazing or discoloration, yeah, you can soak it in peroxide, but that, I think that's pretty permanent. So here we have this multi-sprig treatment that comes from the all-over treatment from 1936. So if you look at the center decal, that's a cutout of this one right here, and the others are going to be the same way. So we've already seen this pattern before. I can't remember what video we looked at this one at, but you will find pieces of kitchen craft that are basically cut-ups of this. So now we need to talk about Royal Metal again. Because before we saw where Royal Metal of Chicago, Illinois used pieces of embossed oven serve as well as specially made pieces for their metal frames, they do it again with kitchen craft. I've seen this called kitchen bouquet before. I'm not sure where that name comes from, but we see this advertisement with kitchen bouquet and these metal frames. There's your platter. And most of the times, if you find these platters, they were probably meant for metal frames, even though they're marked kitchen craft. Most of the time they were meant for metal frames, even if they're in solid colors like the Fiesta glazes. And here we have the casserole and pie plate, of course. Guaranteed kitchen craft oven serve. So here we see Royal Metal again using all these pieces of kitchenware for their metal frames. This one is KK340. It doesn't have the number on the lid, but I know that that's what it is. Just like the other casseroles that we saw, if it was meant for a metal frame, the bases are not decorated. They're just blank. There's no reason to decorate the base if it's going to be in one of these metal frames. So we'll look at a couple more things. This is an advertisement from 1937. It shows some pieces of eggshell nautilus. We have our star flower. We saw that in the previous video on a piece of kitchen craft. There's Mexicana. Kitchen craft KK300. This is our flower pot treatment. This is the first treatment available on kitchen craft. Fiesta, and then some underglaze prints. And when I did the video on Royal Oven Serve, I sort of talked about this in the ending, and that is, if you collect kitchen craft or oven serve, you can expect to see the decals jump from one to the other and have this mixture. So in this case, this is Butler Brothers catalog, summer of 1938. And we see that they're selling our Deco leaf treatment. But Homer Laughlin just pulled a bunch of shapes together to create this set. So we've got our Royal Oven Serve straight-sided casserole with an underplate, the kitchen craft ball jar, the largest size, the embossed oven serve casserole with underplate, our 3 utensils, an embossed oven serve mixing bowl, the kitchen craft cake plate, and the daisy chain casserole and pie plate. We haven't looked at daisy chain yet. We will very soon. Probably in the next video or so, we're going to look at daisy chain and handy Andy and a couple other things. Now there's a few pieces of kitchen craft I didn't show you that go together to form a set, and I didn't show you simply because I didn't have any. So we'll look at Huxford's, and here we see our tulip on kitchen craft, and what I don't have to show you is the stack set. So here it's 3 bowls with a lid, a flat lid. They go together to form this refrigerator stacking set. And interestingly, they've got a metal frame here. So this would have been something that came from Royal Metal. So that's it for now. Homer Laughlin's Kitchen Craft. This was made from 1937 all the way into the 1960s.